Hello everybody and welcome to Georambles here in Bournville. Bournville, home of the famous Cadbury's chocolate brand, one of the most famous food brands in the whole of the world. And the story of Cadbury's is absolutely amazing on many fronts from a geographical point of view. The first thing is that Cadbury's grew out of the Industrial Revolution really here in Birmingham, and it was set up first of all in 1829 by John Cadbury, who had a small shop in the centre of Birmingham and began to import cocoa beans which had been originally sourced from South America, brought in by the conquistadores back to Spain. They'd become popular in London, and so Cadbury built up this kind of niche retail sector around the cocoa bean, and it was so successful he had to move to different premises because the production increased, and then eventually came here to Bournville. And Bournville is an amazing site because it's one of the original garden factories. So Cadbury was a Quaker, and as a Quaker he didn't drink, he was an egalitarian, he was a pacifist, and lots of other virtuous things. And one of the things he wanted to do was provide a decent life for his workers. So local development and local community valorization was very big around here. So Bournville was built as a garden city where there were sports facilities for the workers, there were all sorts of access to green spaces, as well as reasonable pay, above the going rate, holidays, and so on and so forth. And one of the most groundbreaking things that was achieved under this kind of model was gender equality, or at least an attempt away from gender inequality, in the sense that women were included in the workforce, and eventually one of the Cadbury's family became the director, the first female director of Cadbury's in 1919. So Cadbury's grew enormously throughout the 1800s and then the 1900s, and by 1920 it was by far the largest brand in the world. But Cadbury's is also important from a geographical point of view in another way. It brings together what we call global value networks, commodity chains that stretch across the world. You see, the cocoa that's in the chocolate that eventuates from this factory is from Ghana or the Ivory Coast, and of course it's brought on ships. Now the source of that trade is originally the British Empire, of course, and the systems, the commodity systems that have been set up there have grown since that period. But over recent times, those commodity chains have expanded as Cadbury's has expanded. At one point, it was 12,000 people that were employed here in the 1960s at its peak. It's grown so much, of course, that it's become attractive to other capital. And now Mondelez Foods is the owner of Cadbury's, but Cadbury's maintains its own brand. There's been controversy about the Cadbury's commodity chains because it's often argued that the small producers that produce the cocoa from the forest get a very small amount relative to the retailers who sell it in the supermarkets as finished chocolate. And indeed, it's very true. But there have been attempts by Cadbury's, and Cadbury's has been quite groundbreaking in seeking certification from FlowCert and Fair Trade and various other certification brandings to try and correct for that. And it's definitely a work in progress. So Cadbury's has brought development locally to Birmingham, development to the United Kingdom in terms of the brand recognition, and also development to the world, if you like, although some of that is controversial. So, that was a little Georamble there from Cadbury World in Bournville, Birmingham. Goodbye.